I don't know if you're the one for me.
Tommy, my man, welcome to your own podcast.
Oh no, yeah, it's been a long time coming.
A long time coming, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Before we dive in, I'll explain to people who I am, because I'm just some random bloke on your podcast for some strange reason. Dan is my name, and I own the studio here, Primal. Tommy has come in, and we've worked together building your podcast and putting this together. It's been a while in the works.
Definitely,
yeah. But I'm just here today to help facilitate the conversation, to help you get the message across, to provide a bit of back and forth for the episode, and hopefully we'll have a good chat and we'll give people what they want.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So this is a question I asked you, Tommy, when you came in to me the very first time, and I'm sure people are curious as well. Why did you start this podcast? What was the motivation for you starting something like this?
Oh, the motivation to start the podcast was probably to just get the message across. Sometimes I don't know what the message is, and then sometimes I do. The spark just kind of comes and goes. But I think we all have a story. Like I said to you today about the guy in the garage I was getting the can of Monster off, and he was saying, "What's wrong with you?" I said to him, and he's looking down, and he's like, "Oh, such and such died on yesterday." And I was like, "What?" So yeah, life's too short, I suppose, to not get your message across, and maybe sitting on the backseat for a while of a lot of things, you know, that kind of way, because I'm kind of like, I know my gifts, and I know I'm good at my job, and I know what I'm capable of doing, but then I'm looking at everyone else in the industry, and I used to compare myself to them, I think, at a certain point, and I used to like, how are they there? How are they not? But they're putting themselves out there. If I'm not putting myself out there, no one will know the message. No one will understand it. Like, do you know the kind of way?
Yeah.
What am I expecting people to, like, mind read?
Yeah,
you know, like
that's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Because some of the people listening to this will obviously know who you are and what you do, but some won't. And when it comes to your industry, right, the fitness industry, it's evolved a lot over the last maybe 10 years. There's different niches and elements within that fitness industry. Like, obviously there's the big gym, the big commercial gym, there's personal training, there's semi-private PT, there's online coaching. Just for people who maybe don't know your story as well, do you want to tell people what it is you do and the business that you run?
So, I think 8 years ago, I left a 50k or 60k pensionable job. I was being called basically a fucking idiot. Can I say that?
It's your podcast, man. You say whatever the fuck you want.
That's only mild. But yeah, so I left the pensionable job in the HSE, which was pretty good. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. A lot of people would jump on that as the golden ticket. But man, I think when you're at a young age and you have a pension and you've no focus or there's no end goal in it, because I was looking after patients, which was a great, you know, benefit to me, like, you know, washing them, cleaning them, bringing them to the hospital appointments, talking to them, my favorite job. Do you know what I mean? Like, my last job actually in the HSE was in the day room. It was on a special. It was to stop some guy from actually masturbating in the room, and he comes up to me and he's walking around and he's like, he's a grand normal bloke. He must be on medication or something for his dementia, but he's walking up and down and he just looks at me and goes, "You stay away from me." And I'm like, "Man, I'm off in 5 minutes for the rest of my life there. You can do one, knock one off." Do you know? But no, it brought a lot of sense of care into me. It made me understand a lot more about myself, where when I went into the job, I was oblivious to what was going on. So what happened was, I understood that if we eat shit and do shit our whole life in this whole process of looking after patients, people were coming in. It was the last bus stop. And there was no kind of like, you know, end goal, because the best part of it was when they came in, you looked after them, you brought them up, you got their health back again. But that's only for a short period of time. And then it's the next batch that comes in. It's gone. Do you know the kind of way? Yeah. So I wasn't able for mentally, I wasn't able for, like, you know, at that age, man, of looking after someone and then watching them die, kind of like, I don't know how to say it to you. Yeah,
you're building a relationship
with
somebody.
It makes you cold.
And then that ends and you've invested all this time and effort and energy into it, and then it happens again and again and again. Of course. Yeah.
I remember being to a funeral, the girl was 102.
Wow.
Yeah. And I hadn't seen any of their family, or except 2 or 3 of them, like in the nursing home or in the hospital. And then we went into the funeral and everyone was looking at us like, "Who are you?"
Yeah. You're probably the people who were closest to her at the end of her life.
Yeah, 100%. And she was 102 and she was shouting out, like, you know, well able to talk. Just the body just gave up, you know?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when I done that job, it made me realised a lot of things. Because I was a barman previously, I was well able to gift to the gab, no problem. Talking about that, loved that. Went to join the army. Then I said I applied for the army, got into the army, passed the fitness test, all that jazz. Had 2 choices, the HSE or the army. 2 government jobs. There was more money in the HSE. But if you look at it, less of a male role, if you like, which is probably, you can't say that nowadays, everyone's equal. But I mean,
You can.
it's more macho to go to the army.
Yeah, well, care jobs are probably 90 to 95% done by women.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're a bloke, trust me, your back's killing you because they get you to lift everyone all the time.
Yeah,
That's the thing. But it made more sense, you know, that kind of way. So, long story short on that one, watching people die wasn't my cup of tea. And if I learned a skill there, I could help people in the best way possible. Because I boxed as well. But I also got to the highest weight I've ever gotten to in the HSC from going in, eating the breakfast that were subsidised.
Okay.
So it was like 250 for an all-day breakfast. Getting them fucking 4-5 times a week. It was 4 days on. 4 days a week every morning. And your one's behind the counter feeling, give them more. And you're just like, yeah, grand, no problem. You go in at 78 kilo and you end up like 98 or 100. You know, and then what really got it was you're bending down to pick something up and work. And the buttons are popping. And you're like, and not just once, not just twice, 3 to 4 times, all your uniforms are gone. You're walking around with a shoelace string trying to hold your stuff up. And I was like, wow, this is not right. So obviously the eating came from probably a form of escapism or depression to get away from all that. Because you go onto the corridors, all you hear is screaming, all this stuff, the smell of like, you know, all sorts, you know. So I said, fuck this. I'm going to put myself together. I know what I'm doing. I went back boxing. It was 100, maybe 98. And it took me 3 months to get back down to 75 kilo just from boxing.
So just getting back into that routine, having the exercise there, probably taking care of your nutrition, having a bit of a goal there, the boxing.
I wasn't even a PT at this point.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? And then I done that and I was like, wow, I fucking like do this. Like, do you know what I mean? So I was looking, and I was actually in the Coliseum gym. I was in the gym and I was actually, during that period, I was actually talking to this guy after this PT session. But there was this bloke there and he had his phone. He was just like, you know, he was just like, yeah, change every 30 seconds. I was like, well, how much you was paying him? I was paying him €30. €30 for the session. Oh, 30 each. For him to sit there on his phone, looking at a timer, going, change. I was like, I'm in the wrong job. You know?
Yeah.
Not because I'm going to try to rob people, but I'm like, that's not right either. Like, you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Same with the care where you get people that don't give a shit, just going in to get the money, bang. So I end up studying on nights then. And so I was going into work on nights. I was going into college the next day, the weekends. I was studying anatomy, physiology, nutrition, the whole works, you know what I mean? Doing all your assignments and all that. And I am not academically driven whatsoever unless I like something. Do you know the kind of way?
Yeah.
I'm not.
The means to an end for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like squirrel, ADHD just goes in, but it kills me. So I just get down, focus on it, and I launch into it. Do you know?
Yeah.
So I done that. And then I was hemming and hawing about, like, you know, I got the certs, you know, I come in, and I'm not being big-headed ranting. I've done karate, boxing, lots of running, lots of football, you know what I mean? Lifted weights when I was 16. I had a good background on it. I never tried to be anything I wasn't. Do you know what I mean? We all tried to had egos in the gym, tried to lift as big as we could, but we went, like, I look back now and I'm looking at the same people. I'm like, that's not even big weight, like, you know, that kind of way. But everyone has to start somewhere, you know? But where was I going with that one? I got offered a job. So I passed out, I done my thing, I got the highest results I could have ever gotten on it, which was great, you know, that kind of way, which was a big, you know, wow for me, because I'm like, you know, I done something myself, happy days.
Yeah.
Actually went and paid for my own education and got it done, do you know? And it would take 2 years to get it done, but I done a private course for 7 months for one PT cert where people are doing it in 4-6 weeks, which I do not understand how people do this, like, you know?
Yeah.
And then I done an advanced personal training course, but it isn't even around now. People just get them in, bang, that's it, 8-week courses, 16, whatever. But I think 12 weeks. But I done an advanced one with Academy 1, which was pre and postnatal, injury rehab, you know what I mean? Advanced hypertrophy training, you know, that kind of way. Like, that's how I ended up going down to Owen Lacey then after that. I was like, I wanted to know more.
Okay,
Yeah, because this is only basic, like, this is an advanced course. But let's be real, the only learning you do is when you get qualified.
Yeah.
This doesn't, you can't put that to the test. Like,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
It's real world learning is what you actually need.
Because people always end up and they're like, I'm qualified PT now. And then they think, boom, you know, like, you know, when you're a plumber, you know, you start off in the apprenticeship and you grind, you graft, and you do all that, and you go up and down. That's it. And you have to earn your tiers and go back. People think once they're qualified, they're the Grand Master now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know. But I got offered a job in Greystones in Go Gym off my the head coordinator of the course. And I was like, would you go down there? And I was like, it's a bit far. I was like, you know, 'cause I'm Dublin, that's Greystones, Wicklow. And I was like, why would I go down there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this makes sense. So I said, you know what? And it was Jay Abbey who owned the gym, California.
Yeah.
And I was like, I watched that show. It's like that. And he was like dead sound, like, you know what I mean? And I was like, it's a bit of laugh. So I said, well, he added me on Instagram. So obviously Paddy said to him. So I was like, you know what? I'll go down and give it a go. I was doing it part-time. Go down and doing a couple of classes. Taught the boxing. Was, you know, boxing's my forte in it. Because I got boxed and it was great and it just comes natural. You know, first class, probably nervous. But the reason I left was I was meant to be doing nights for Christmas time. So I was doing nights at Christmas time in the hospital, which I have no problem doing it. But my granddad got diagnosed with cancer. So I wanted them off. You get me?
Yeah.
I wanted to take it off because I worked them 4 years in a row. This would have been the 5th year. Okay. And I was like, I was going to have it off because I'm not working that. I was going to say, because I worked the last 4 or 5 years in a row on Christmas Day. And they were like, no problem. And they always, but you don't have any kids. And I said, what's that having to do with? What you're doing to me won't actually give me any time to make them or find someone to do it. Do you know what I mean? Because basically on Christmas morning, we used to always go to my nanny's and we used to always go down about 1 o'clock, maybe 11, 12, and all the family be there. And we used to all just like, you know, talk and, you know, as life goes on, we don't really meet up with each other anymore. Life gets busy, you know, that kind of way. So that was the only opportunity to kind of get granddad, nanny, mom, dad, my brother, my sister, and the rest of the family that were there to come together. You know, so it was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. I went in one day after I passed on my exams, and I went onto the board and I seen it, and I was like, Thomas Buckley, your nights have been blocked out. So they put me back on them without telling me. I was like, so I rang Paddy then and goes, later on that day, he goes, is that job still going? Because originally I said no. I was like, is that job still going? He goes, yeah, right. Tell him I'll be down or whatever like that, or organise it, send me on. Went down, done it, bang. Now, mind you, people complain about the wage. I was probably on, 50 to 60. I don't know if that's like €17 an hour. Probably like not good money, is good money to some people, whatever like that. But I left that job for €10.50 or €11 an hour with no pension, and all I asked was 40 hours a week because I was doing 39 to HSC. And he gave it to me. And I went in and I said, you know what? I said, I didn't even go to the CNM, which is the clinical nurse manager. I went straight to the line manager and handed in my notice.
How did that feel, handing that in?
Like a big relief.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was nervous. And she turned around to me and she goes, it's always the good ones that leave. Now, mind you, I'm not big-headed on, but when I walked in the bar and I do any job and I used to clean the jacks in the toilets, I'd make them spotless and do them. Like, I'm a grafter, which is why I probably get so hot-headed at people that want it easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, not because I don't know how to hard, but I was like, you know, why do you want it easy? You should graft for this. Like, it's like lifting weights in the gym. Do you think going lifting 2 fucking sets of 10s is going to get you big arms? No, you got to take time and do it. Like, it's a process. Enjoy it, you know? And then I went back anyway to the nursing home in my ward, and I said it to them, and I was like, oh, yeah. He goes, yeah. He goes, well, like, you know, you don't care. No one cares about us. Like, you know what I mean? You're not giving me a chance. There's no life in here. Yeah, you have a job. Yeah, you have pension. You got good money on it. But you never have time to spend it or to enjoy the things that are like, you know, priceless. Like spend time with your family.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I left it. Do you know?
Yeah. And if you're doing something 39 hours a week that you don't enjoy, you don't feel respected in, it's very hard to keep doing that for a long period of time.
I did enjoy it to a certain point.
You enjoyed elements of it, yeah, but you obviously, there was obviously something from the story you're telling there about the job or the way it was set up.
Oh man, we ended up on prime time, RTE News and everything.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we ended up on that. And you know, I probably can't say any names on that one, you know, kind of, but that story or that situation was absolutely mad.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Like, you know.
But to keep it about you, right, what I find really interesting, and you can speak to this now as well, is it takes a certain type of person to leave security. What did I say? It's one of the biggest, there's two big addictions in the world, and one is a regular wage. There's some saying that basically says that most of us are addicted to that security, that idea that we're safe and secure. You've got 40 hours a week and you've got a pension at the end of it. And we don't think too much outside of that. And that means we can't live our lives as much as we'd like to live our lives. Whereas you looked at a job that was going to pay less. It was unfamiliar territory for you. You had to travel. It was inconvenient for you. It was out of your way. And you still just made the decision to leave the security to go to the insecurity. That's led you to here now. Like, but it takes a certain type of person to do that. There's a different mindset there to leave that to go to do something that's not as secure on the outside. Because like realistically, when you break it all down, nothing is really secure. But
no,
looking from the outside, 40 hours a week, pensionable job, 40, 50 grand a year. That's what most people say. I'll take that. That's great. But if there's no real meaning or purpose or drive, you're not feeling fulfilled. It does take something to be able to step away from that, because it's attractive. Like it's safe. It feels safe.
But I think the pension would have been paying for my hospital bed in years to come. It would have been the room. I was seeing it. I was seeing people saying, I was sitting there one night, rest boy comes in, he goes, I used to work here. He has dementia, he's looking around, he's on nights the whole time, and he's like actually back in the place he worked.
That's nuts, man.
And I'm like, yeah.
Okay, that'd be a big
time to get out of here. Time to
yeah.
Do you know the kind of way? Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, are you gonna wait until the pension or retirement or whatever to actually be happy or enjoy yourself? And like, I'm not one of these who said everyone should quit their job and follow their dreams or anything like that. But I think there's decisions that we get to make at certain points in our lives, and you made a decision to follow something that you had an interest in that was gonna be very, very, as you can probably talk to now, it's a very challenging thing to do.
Of course.
To go out on your own, to start something new, to try and figure it out as you go. And like in that industry as well, like there's pathways, all right, but nothing's clear cut. There's nobody saying, right, if you do your 40 hours now for the next 2 years, that you're going to be at this level, you're going to get promoted to line manager, and then you're going to get promoted to staff. There's no one saying that in these types of industries. You kind of have to go and prove yourself. You have to prove that you're good enough to do it. You have to show your clients that you're interested and engaged, and you have the experience and you have the desire. You have to show, was it Jay who hired you? You have to show him that like you're worthwhile, and that you can do something, and that you can take more responsibility or more hours or more classes or whatever it is. Like, it's a difficult thing to do.
Oh, you had a great team at the start of joining Go Gym, 100%. Manager was brilliant. Always looked after me. Like doing boot camps, had 20 people in the boot camp class and all that. Like, you know, the kind of way, like rolling over, and people were itching to join it, like, you know. And it was great, you know, like, so it was just like, you know what, walking into a job where people were bickering at each other and just looking at everything and pointing things out, like, not everyone, don't get me wrong, do you know what I mean? But there's always that one person, even in the gym, I suppose. But at least walking into a place where you're like, oh, this is a playground here.
And a gym environment is totally different as well from your agency. People are there to improve, to feel better, to move, to train, they're there because they're motivated to be there. Well, for the most part.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't like at the moment now is this new generation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like tripod central. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like,
what age are you, Tommy?
Me?
Are you 63 years old?
31. 31.
You're still only a young fella yourself. I've seen you with the tripod out now in the gym doing your fucking biceps.
Yeah, but here's the thing. My tripod's like a gorilla. It's like a gorilla
pod.
Gorilla pod. Yeah. Like it goes on the machine. It doesn't set up camp in front of everyone. Like, do you know kind of way?
So the differentiation is you get a gorilla pod and you're all right, but have a tripod.
Oh no, it kills me a little bit inside every time I get out now. Not even that, like, you know, like everyone recording every set.
No, I get you.
Every set after, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then like taking pictures and stuff, like, and then looking around the gym and all. See who's looking at them and all. It's like, you know, it's funny because maybe at some point, maybe I was like that as well with Instagram. That's the funny part, because it's like the awareness is key to catching yourself out at those things. Because why are we doing it? Validation. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the kind of way? Like, and it's like, and at the end of the day, no one really wants to see how you do a leg extension all the time. Do you know the kind of way? Like, I had a great idea now that talking to one of the lads, I was like, bring it in. Boom. Content creators license, €100 a month. Anyone that really wants to record and get good content will, boom, copyright and trademark that. Because I said it, and then someone done it in Australia.
They
actually done, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you know what the thing is though, there's nothing wrong with recording, right? But there's a way of doing it. It's like getting people in the shots or making the older person feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I think more what we're talking about here is etiquette, really, in the gym.
Yeah,
it's the same as like cleaning your equipment for people and not annoying people who are doing their exercise or their sets or whatever that. Don't have your phone out in the middle of the floor. Don't be recording people. Like, everyone's there to try and train and improve themselves. So don't make that an uncomfortable process. And if your phone and tripod is making it uncomfortable for people, that's a problem. I think it's less about people taking pictures of themselves than it is about the fucking pageantry and the drama and the show. They make it a whole thing and getting in people's way. I think that's what most people have an issue with.
Yeah. Training used to be just like, get training done, take a video or two, that's it. Yeah. Boom, 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 out. Well, now it's a movie. It's like Lord of the Rings all over again. Do you know what I mean?
Lord of the Rings.
And even yesterday in the Coliseum, I was down there, and this big, huge fella comes up to me, right? I'm going up to the assisted dip machine, right? And I'm going up and I'm taking, there's a 20 on it, 2 20s and a 10 on one side, right? Right, goes, I'm going to warm up on the 2 20s, right? Grant, take the 10 off. He comes up to me and goes, what are you doing with my machine? I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, you put my 10 back. And I said, where was the other one? He's like, what? He goes, you're doing it in balance then. So you weren't on it. Because I'll tell you what, I said, I'll jump in with you. He's like, all right, Grant, done it. That was learning to walk in with each other, regardless, because he wanted to do it and he thought I'd be on it for ages. That kind of way the generation has stemmed and now on their phone for the whole time. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I thought, I love that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
a bit of human interaction.
Yeah, like I won't back down from it because I know he's buzzing. I know he's trying to wind me up, but I'll try the same back to him without losing the head. Like, that's what he wants. Like, you know.
And it's a good point as well to keep us in the story here. Like, you are a people person. You do like the banter. You do like the chat. Like, even the job you were in, was it 5-6 years you were in that job?
Yeah.
Like, you're a people person. You like people. You wouldn't be in that job if you didn't like people or didn't want to help people. And it's the same when you get into the fitness industry. Like, the people I have found who do it best are people who genuinely care. They want to help you. It's not necessarily about the aesthetics or the weight loss or the whatever. It's about you feeling better. It's about you understanding what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's about having the crack. It's about building a relationship. Like, the type of person who gets into the fitness world as a coach, they seem to do much better and progress much faster when they have that like real human element about them. They actually care about people, as opposed to they just want to be in the fitness industry because it's sexy or whatever. You're going to make a few quid. You can do your online coaching.
It's like a trending thing.
There is a bit of a trend, to be fair, at the moment, but you can kind of tell, especially people who go to engage with a coach. Like, if I was looking for a coach, I'm looking for somebody who I can get on with. I don't really care about your qualifications. I don't care how many bodybuilding shows you've done.
They do not matter.
They don't
at all.
They don't really matter.
It's better to be qualified, obviously. You know what I mean?
Of course, you need to have the
but that's your
basics
ticket.
That's
your ticket in. Like, do you know what I mean? Exactly. No one does care about your bodybuilding. Like, you know, how many shows.
They want to like you.
And at the end of the day, as well, if you are a PT and you start, like, you know, doing loads and loads and loads and loads of shows, sometimes that shoots yourself in the foot because people get intimidated by that look. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and I've always gone about it, natty or not. There's nothing wrong with going being natural or assisted. The fact is that there's people in the industry that are lying and trying to build a brand awareness around themselves, say, oh, you can get this and this, and then lie about it.
You can get this at my 6-week program.
Of course. Then bang, there you go, 100%, 180 for what, 2 months or 8 weeks, and then I will roll it on again. If you've done an 8-week course, Dan, how many times would you do it?
If I did an 8-week course?
Once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you've done an 8-week course, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, education or anything like that. Do you get me? Goes, why are these people doing 8 weeks for the whole year?
Yeah. because that's the program, I suppose.
Yeah,
That's
you
it's
know?
easier to sell it.
Yeah.
To stay in Tommy's head here.
Mm.
So you left the HSC into Go Gym. You started working as a coach. Obviously, sitting here in front of me now, you run a successful business, trained by Tommy. You've got your clients. You're building the brand. You're kind of making your waves. But you talk to me about this mission a lot as well. That there's a mission and a message inside you. So you're clearly driven by a sense of purpose. It's not just about the business or the money or the clients or whatever, like we were just talking about there, the
No.
trend and having a big fitness business, the ego. There's some sort of mission or message inside you. Talk to me a little bit about that.
I've failed many times doing this. And that's like in my own place. I was struggling for bills. I was making it work. You know what I mean? COVID happened, like yourself, you know the story.
Yeah,
Kind of push you back into a corner to make it work. When everyone else took advantage of the online coaching, I probably went through the worst period of mental health in my life during COVID. And I think everyone was the same. And you know what? I'm not ashamed to talk about that because everyone's gone through it. I think. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the whole story is just like that's nothing I can probably ever explain properly of how it felt in that time. Because I get, like I said, people person. I get energy from helping people, which is probably weird, you know? You know, some people don't like to see people do well. I love seeing people do well. You know what I mean? Like, I love seeing people do well. It just drives me up a little bit more. But because I never had that human interaction, I was just like unplugged. Not in a good way unplugged. I mean, like someone took the energy from me and I couldn't do anything. I was like, I felt worthless because I didn't learn to detach from my job. And that's the problem with some people where they associate their only identity with themselves and their position and what they do. That's one thing I learned, to detach myself away from it. But also come in, I'll always be the coach, but I'll also be myself. Do you know that kind of way? So I think it happened a lot of, like, during COVID, everyone was bored. So then I'm looking online and I'm comparing myself to people online because I need more clients, I need more this and that. So what I done was I got this message of someone about buying bots, right? Followers, right? And I said, fuck, I'll do it. I need more clients, bang. But then I realised after that, it doesn't go anywhere. They're all fake, right? So, and I say it, like that's why I'm so fucking like against it, because I'm like, people think I'm this person online who's bad-mouthing all these coaches and all these things. No, I'm bad-mouthing the system that people are following and people are falling for. Do you get me? So you look at me, so they have 10k followers. Oh, Delhi, they don't even look through it. Do a game of fucking follower roulette and go onto it, and they're all from God knows where. None of them are from England, none of them are from Ireland, none of them are from America. You know what I mean? Like, and so I thought my account was gonna get hacked. So I was like, oh, fuck it, this is wrong. I said, this is like, you know what I mean? This is betraying the wrong message. So I went through every single one of them and removed them. Then I was like, grand, I only have a couple of hundred more. But you know, if you remove so many followers, you get blocked in your account or like...
you get flagged.
Yeah, not even flagged. It's like, it just stops you from uploading. Like, it just pauses your account for a second. So you can't, it just disables it for like a short period of time. So I had to do that. So I was like, I realised the good numbers. So I was like, okay. So I got them all down to 10,000. Grand, put the phone down. 100 followers, 200 followers, 300 followers. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why is this happening? Is this going to keep happening? So I texted them and said, listen, stop that, whatever. Oh, this hasn't gone through yet, whatever. Are you sure? Yeah, grand, stopped. Grand. So I deleted all of them and went through the whole lot and then rebuilt from start because I was like, I don't want to betray that fake person. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's why I'm really, really, really against it. Because I've done it myself and I realised it was wrong. Do you know that kind of way? No, and this was within the first 24 hours, I realised. It wasn't like I was holding on to it.
Yeah.
You get me? This was within the first 24 hours. It was on 8,000 and the deal was like, I think it was like 100 quid or 80 quid for 10,000 followers at the time because everyone was going for it. And I was just like, yeah, bang. And I openly admit that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, Tommy, look, you know the industry I'm in. Like, I obviously have the studio here, create a lot of content for people. It's so much more common than you think. And it's not like, especially when you're running a business, but even if you're not running a business, people and social media is a weird mix because we think that those vanity metrics mean that we're going to be successful. So having a big number on Instagram means I'll be successful. And it doesn't make you a bad person to want to be successful. You want to grow your business, you want to help more people, you want to have more impact. We all want to feel a level of significance. And we associate that with the number on Instagram because we think that's what that means. If I have more followers, it must mean more people validate me and my message. And then I can sell more programs or more plans, whatever it is, and my business will grow and I can help more people. So in almost everybody, I've met loads of people who've told me that they've done it, some publicly and some not publicly. And it's so common. And it's an interesting psychological thing for me to observe. Number one, practically doesn't work. Like, you clog up your engagement. None of these people are real. You can't sell to any of them. So a business move, it's a terrible business move. It annoys all your existing followers because they don't see your content anymore. Like, from a practical point of view, it's probably one of the worst things you can do for your platform to get a lot of fake followers. But from an ethical point of view, there's loads of friction there. Like, you felt it. You said in the first 24 hours, you'll know that it's not right.
No.
You'll know on some level that there's an element of fakeness to it. And even if nobody ever found out, you know.
Of course.
It just takes the polish off what you're trying to do, especially, as I said before, if you're in an industry that's focused on people, which you are, and I am as well. You work with people, you want to help people, you want to solve problems for people, you want them to relate to you. And when something like that happens, it's a good sign that there's friction there, because if there wasn't, you're probably in the wrong industry. If you were like, yeah, this is fucking grand, you're probably in the wrong industry, because you're never going to be able to help people if that's your attitude towards it. The follower thing is just very, very interesting because it's so common.
And it is definitely common, because I've seen it a few times, and people are like, oh, they're doing well. And I goes, I'm telling you how straight these people. There's no way they got 10,000 followers overnight. Are you for real? It's like a package.
Literally I saw, what was I watching this morning before you came in? I was watching something, I can't remember, it was a YouTube video, but there was an article went up in the States, and there's an American influencer has 2 million followers, and she tried to sell t-shirts and she couldn't sell 36 t-shirts.
That's
2
it.
million followers.
Yeah, 20k followers, but not 20, not 20 clients.
Exactly, yeah. So
How does that work?
this idea of 1,000 super fans, like, you don't need millions of people to run a successful business. If you have 1,000 people, depending on your industry, in your community that are actively engaged and they're contributing and they're maybe buying off you and they're getting involved in your events and stuff like that, 1,000 people, that's more than enough to run most small businesses. You don't need millions and millions of fans. But not to get distracted down the content avenue.
Yeah.
When it comes to that mission, then, like, you're building Trained by Tommy, you've got this, every time I meet you, you've got this real focus and this drive to do something. Like, you're doing the podcast now, and it's not, as you found, like, there's a lot in setting it up.
Of course
there's
there
a lot
is.
in getting it going. There's a lot of moving parts there. Like, and
I think it was last year or something we tried to do this.
last year, yeah.
think so.
And I said to you as well, don't do this until you're ready to do this, because it's it's a huge amount of work, and now you're doing it. So to be able to add that in to what you're already doing and to have the motivation and the drive to do it, like, where's that coming from you? Like, what is the mission here? What are you getting at?
Well, the mission was, like I said about the HSE, it was bad. The head went into an industry then to try to be myself, but then realised that it was ego-driven. Obviously, a lot of things are ego-driven. Doesn't matter, though. It's as long as it's healthy, but sometimes it can be unhealthy. But then COVID happened and all that jazz, hardest time. Done 4 or 5 years of counselling. And my brother said it to me. He's like, don't be speaking online until you're ready. And I was like, he goes, you get your message, it will get a lot further if you are mentally ready and clear in the head. So I took his advice, I took his advice, and I remember we were having an argument during COVID, something stupid, over scales, like scales for weighing food, and I was like, do you know what? It was like cabin fever. Everyone is you could have said anything.
The pressure cooker, yeah.
Yeah, you could have said anything. And it was just literally like he wanted to weigh his food or something like that, right? And I put on shitloads of weight during that COVID time. And I was like, trying my best. And he's then taking it. And it's like, what are you doing? And he says something to me and he goes, look at your belly. And I was like, what? And that really, really really got me. And I had a shaker in my hand and I bounced it off the floor, Dan. But the minute I bounced it off the floor, me and my brother got me ma and dad TV for Christmas that year. And it didn't break it, but it bounced off the floor and it hit the TV. I was like, oh, bollocks. But I see my ma's face, the way he reacted and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I can get a lot more angrier, but that was just frustration built up. She was not able to take it. She was like, it scared her. it frightened her. So I was like, right, went upstairs then, boom, 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 and I checked myself into counselling because I was not able to control my emotions whatsoever over a stupid fight like that. So went in, done counselling for 4 or 5 years. When she said to me, this is 4 years, 4 years it was, I was like, what? I was like, that flew by. Best investment I've ever done. People want to buy a mentorship, I don't tell them to invest in doing counselling first.
Really, yeah.
Before that. Yeah, of course. You learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
CBT, I've done cognitive behaviour therapy. So basically, I'm not a nut job, but when we stem up and we grow up, right, our behaviours and everything are all stem from our past. Obviously, our childhood, family, whatever. So most people are, and it's weird because now that I have that superpower, I can see it in other people. The same way I was, that they're trapped or caught in, you know? Usually the way, it's like when I, what age was I? 22. When I was 22, I end up moving over to another country after a bad breakup, right? So I keep things kind of a little bit
Vague.
vague.
Is it another country like the UK or Afghanistan or where did you go?
People that know me will. I
Okay.
moved abroad, walked in an Irish bar, whatever. End up over there, like it's before I actually joined the HSC after the bar. So I end up going over there, working as a waiter, cocktail barman, supervisor, whatever, right? Was left there. And end up bumping into this fella who was a big, big head, right? Ran everything, like dangerous stuff, like. But I'm on my own and I'm Irish and he's from a certain place, right? And they like the Irish, right? Clicked on well with him, grand. But I remember saying to him one time, I goes, how does it feel that you've made it? He goes, what do you mean? I goes, you have the money, you have the power, you have the women. He goes, you have it all, like, you know, how does it feel? And he goes, Tom, I trade my life for yours any day as a barman. I can't see my wife, my kids. I can't do anything like that. And I'm like, something switched on that day. And I was like, you know, the wannabe love-hate heads with all the goose jackets on then. They're going around and they fucking think, you know what I mean? They're like wearing a goose jacket, can't afford it for a McDonald's or anything like that. That was the mental state I was in going over, and I just changed it. Because what he said to me. He told me, like I said, I'm not saying any names or anything like that because, you know, it's obviously a fucking touchy road, like, you know what I mean? But to me, like, whatever road you go down, I respect you for who you are, but the person is the person. Do you know what I mean? And he said he didn't do it because he wanted to. He done it because he had to. There's a difference in that. I don't know why people are going in to try to be something they're not. You know that kind of way?
Yeah.
People do it because they have to. And I have a couple of mates like that have gone down that road, you know what I mean? And have got banged up and, you know what I mean? They've either gone down the road of addiction or gone down the road of being in prison. And I was like, the mission statement is that for me, it goes, I was offered that loads of times. Loads of times. I got robbed over in this place. Someone spiked me. And I ended up, first time I ever drink a red wine, I ended up on the harbour, man, and woke up like this. It's like, what the? It's like, no memory whatsoever. Went to the hospital, got tested, nothing happened, grand, no wallet, 700 quid gone. But your man I'm talking about actually ended up going back to the place, getting the cameras and getting the wallet back off your man. And I was like, wow. So before that though, I had to go back to Dublin from this place at Christmas time. And I got a loan off the owner. Liquid ecstasy they spiked me with.
Liquid ecstasy.
Yeah, liquid ecstasy. Yeah. And I didn't take it willingly this time. And I was sitting there and I was just being upstairs in the dining area of the bar. I was walking in and I was rattling. And I didn't know what was going on. I was like that. I had no one. I had don't know what thought process was going on through my head. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, fucking hell. They got a loan off the boss to cover that. I got the money when I came back, but I had to go over to Dublin. And the thing was, I got robbed But I ended up in the cop shop that morning because I was scared in the sense that I goes, I'll get me stuff back or whatever like that, get the CCTV, whatever. But then I realised who I was hanging around with, so I can't be here. I have to get out of here, do you know? And I was like, I got out anyway. But your man said to me, what happened to your face? I was like, what are you talking about? I looked at my face then in the mirror. There was a cut here, a cut here, cut here, cut here, all down the side. So I must have got smacked. And then I got a vague memory, like flashback. I had my wallet like that and I pulled back and someone went to grab me and I went to push and I got hit and I hit back and I got another dig in the head or something. And that's it. Don't remember nothing. I have a video on my old phone if I ever find it, man, and I don't remember it whatsoever. My jaw is swinging. And I'm like, and I'm speaking like the language and I'm like, fucking hell, like, that's not me, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and like, I didn't take it willingly. Do you know what it was? I was lonely. I was Christmas time. I got me tips and me wage of 700 quid, which was good because it's 400 or 300 quid they get there a month, whatever. And I was lonely coming to Christmas and I had a Baileys, man. I never have a Baileys because it was Irish. I had a Baileys. That ended up fucking me up, literally, like, do you know what I mean? But your man ended up getting the lads back and all that jazz. But long story short on that message is I went over there being a different person and came back a better one. So when I came back, that's when I learned to box and when I learned to look after myself and I learned to, like, not be this kind of ego-driven person who's a wannabe and just be myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so the mission statement is always trying to be real to myself and always trying to be, like, there's a lot more to that story that can go down the lines of, you know what I mean? A lot more, like, you know? And because I gave him 50 quid for his rent one night because he couldn't pay his hostel because he was meant to be meeting someone for money, he ended up looking after me. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. He was stuck in a time of need and I gave him 50 quid because someone let him down. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Someone let him down. We're actually in like a fucking, what was it called? An escort house that night. Didn't go near them. Didn't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Man was waiting for it. Never showed up. I'm in the bar later on the next day and he's like, oh, can I have a drink? I was like, yeah. Some outfit beside him. He's like, yeah, this is your man. Whipped out a lot of cash, but that big. You know? Later on, down the line, he goes to me and he hands me 15k cash. You broke now? And I said, I had it in my hand for about, my pocket for about, say, 20 minutes, I said. I went into the Jacks and I had a piss and I went, 500. And I'm like, no, I put it in my pocket. I went back in and he said, like, I was, no, here, take that back. He's like, what? He goes, I can't take that. Can't wolf you. I know how this goes, I said. Can't wolf you. 23 now at the time. Nearly 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm looking back now and during a decade and I'm like, you know, if I did take that, what would have went? What would have happened?
Life would be very different, Tommy. I can tell you that right now.
I'm telling you, we can never pay that back.
No.
Do you know?
How does all of that, like what your man said to you about him wishing he had your life, about the night that you got the wallet taken, about that little interaction there with the 15 grand, how does all that kind of influence how you live your life now?
I'd never change it. I'd never change that because it makes you who you are. You have to go through a little bit of struggle to get there. How would it?
Like, you live your life now a certain way. Like, again, you're running your business for a reason. You're doing this podcast for a reason. Like, you're trying to have an impact. You're trying to have an influence on the world.
So I haven't drank since Christmas. So I've been off the gargle since Christmas. I try my best to stay away from certain situations. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'll go out and I'll dabble and I'll do my thing, like, you know, with the lads or whatever. But it's not as frequent anymore. It's non-existent. Do you know what I mean? Because I used to chase the session. You'd be in the kitchen, wouldn't you, at 5 o'clock in the morning, telling everyone how to run the world. Realistically speaking, no one gets anywhere doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I lived that. Never turn around and say I never tried anything, I never enjoyed myself, or I never done that. But I had a good stint at it. And then I realised, okay, this is it. That's it. That's done. Because I remember being in school and the lads couldn't wait to drink or go on the dole. Free money, you know. I was like, that mindset is like in a lot of people, unfortunately. So in order to break that in my head, I had to break away from certain points. Like, I've stayed in from nights out and I'm meant to go out and all that. Like I said to you earlier on, man, I played Metal Gear Solid the other day just to stay in, like, just to do that. Play an Xbox and then be with me board and all that jazz. We go out and do things and meet up with me mates and all that. But they're all activities. They're not like kind of like, you know, just go out in the session. Do you know?
So if you were talking to somebody now in their 20s, in their 30s, whatever, who maybe are a little bit lost or maybe have some options ahead of them or maybe feel like they're doing something that doesn't quite sit right with them or they think there might be more, like what would you say to those people? Obviously you're going to be talking a lot on the podcast as you go forward about stories and people who struggle and how to help, but like,
Yeah.
what is it you'd like to say to people who are at a crossroads or maybe on a bad path at the moment like that? Because you've your own experience. It helps you make your decisions, and you feel like you're in a good place at the moment. Your life is moving the way you want it to move. You're doing all these different things. You're making things happen. And I'm sure there's people out there who are kind of sitting going, well, fucking easy for you to say. What would you say to people in terms of the type of mindset that can be helpful to develop and the type of approach to life that can be helpful to
It
develop?
was never easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for anybody. So everyone's going through it. So it's one thing I've never really talked about, actually. I was on the Pieta House suicide program.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had a bad breakup one time and I went and reached about, say 16 paracetamol tablets, right? But back to the session where I went out, I was out the night before. So it was a come down. So it was never, ever, ever a point I wanted to get out of here. It was a point of just like the come down period. They had me in the hospital, had the IV drip in me and all that. And your man's like, why'd you do it? And I was like, bored that I was with. I was only 20 something. That's why I fucked off over to Portugal. Shouldn't have said that.
We can cut that if you like.
Nah, leave it. It was Madeira. So that's why I always go back. But like, that's why it was just an impulse thing. So again, with the therapy, wasn't able to control my emotions, wasn't able to do all that jazz. And this is why everyone's like, oh, this is easy, this and that. That's not, no, it was horrible. You know, wasn't I? Went into, was Tala Hospital and all that shit was happening. And they had me talking to someone. Basically suicide watch. Because they're not allowed, they don't let you out unless you can reach certain boxes.
Yeah.
And like, again, cultural thing. Couldn't understand who the lady who was talking to me, the way she was trying to get to me, you know, couldn't get through. So can I talk to someone that understands me, whatever. Put me on the Pieta House program. I don't know, it was me just not being able to be open, but it was actually in fairness now, I don't know if I can say this, but from my experience, it didn't help me. It actually felt worse. Do you know that kind of way? So that's why my whole thoughts on therapy was for years was like, no, that's useless. You know what I mean? Why would I do that? You know, your man was just in the room. He's like, how does that make you feel? And like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I took 2 tablets and went and rang me mom and she broke up with me over the phone in America for 5 years. What you fucking think I was gonna feel like? You know what I mean? And that was it. Like, because at that point I didn't see anything else in the future. I just felt that was it. Boom, life complete, gone. See you later. No goals, nothing. So if I was to say that to someone about how tough it is, set some goals. Stay away from the session. Do you know what I mean? Like, have good people in your company. Enjoy yourself. Take time. Don't focus on other people. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'd go on. Now, I focused on people for years, but as well, like, you know, I'm very outspoken, but not in the negative way, in the positive way. I've said things to people that probably they got insulted, but it's trying to help them. Do you get me?
Yeah,
they take it personally.
I think how it's delivered is important as well. Yeah. What I'm getting from you, Tommy, is obviously the power of experience. Like the things that we go through, there's lessons in all of them. I know that's a cliche, but like everybody's situation is difficult. Some people have it much worse. Some people have a little bit better. But we all go through things in our lives that kind of shape who we are. They help us decide the type of person that we're going to be, or consciously or unconsciously. I think what you've said there is really powerful. Having something to work towards is really, really powerful. Like living your life through fear, running away from something, that's part of who we are, I suppose, to some degree. But having something you can run towards as well is really important. And like with you, business and stuff like that, it can be very, very helpful if you're doing something you really enjoy and you really love and you really are having an impact with people that you really like. That's a very, very powerful motivator.
Doesn't feel like work.
Doesn't feel like work, yeah. It doesn't feel like
Do
work.
you know?
It's really important.
Mm.
I think being able to be flexible in your mindset, like you told us there, you were in certain situations where you could have gone down route A or route B, and being able to think through those processes and kind of have a little think about what this might mean for me in the future, really, really powerful.
Yeah, but now when I want to go down that road, I just watch Top Boy on Netflix and
there
see
you
the
go.
end, and I'll be like, yeah, thank fuck.
It's, unfortunately, in a lot of those cases, it's a one-way street. And like the power of your environment, the people you're surrounded by as well. Like you talked about being in the HSE environment, and look, it's a very difficult thing, and it's an incredible thing that people do. All the carers and nurses and everybody in that environment, but
Great people.
it can be really difficult. The system can be really, really hard. And like you talking to us about that old woman in, was she 102, 103, and you were her family. Like, that's a hard environment. It's not conducive to growth. You were putting on weight, you weren't feeling great, all that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden you leave that and you get into something that you actually enjoy, and lots of things start to improve. So like having that environment there is really, really important, I think, as well. And your story kind of illustrates that.
Yeah, and then even sometimes you just feel like giving up as well when you're on that journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like you think you're gonna, oh, will I do this and do that? Like, you know.
And
but then the key is not to give up, you know.
You just said it there, Tommy. I think like that's normal. That's okay to feel like that, and it's okay to have days and weeks or even months where you're like, this is shy. It's not okay to not do anything about it. That's my big thing. Like you have to do something, but like you said there, not giving up is the key. Being able to move forward. Now, just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again is going to give you the same result. Obviously, the definition of madness, but being able to just have those times where you're not feeling great and then picking yourself up and going at it again, I think is it's the key to, I suppose, quote unquote, success, whatever you want to call that. But it's the only way to do it, really. We're going to have times that are very, very difficult. You're going to go through more times that are very difficult. I'm going to go through times that are very difficult.
Of course.
But the key
manage them.
Manage them, yeah. And then how do we build that environment down for ourselves? How do we surround ourselves by people who are positive and who do support us and who do lift us back up, and not the naysayers and the negativity and the people who just want to drag you back down? And you've talked about that in your story there as well. Like, how do you find those people and connect with those people, and in a way that you can help them and they can help you? Like, I don't know about you, but like working with my clients, whenever I'm working with a client, I get as much as I give. So I can give loads of energy and be really positive, but I get loads of energy from how those people come in and engage with me, and they give me feedback, and we've got a relationship and we build that kind of thing together. So like for me, the power of having my little business and you having your business, that's what I get from it. It's not just me giving all the time. I get loads back from the people that I work with because of that energy and that environment.
Oh, you obviously learn loads from your clients anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless if you are a coach, you know what I mean? Like, coaches learn more, believe it or not, from
100%.
their failures from it. Like,
And it makes you a better coach.
Yeah, 100%. And in any aspect, doesn't matter what role you have, I suppose, you're learning from everything, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
I think this is a lovely little taster. I know I'm laughing here, right? Because I know in future episodes it's going to get spicy. And I know you've got some stuff planned for the podcast, but like, I think this particular chat, it was nice to hear the story. And I think it'll give people a good idea of where you're coming from when you say the things you say. Because you've said to me a few times that not that you're worried, you're not worried at all.
This is holding back.
This is holding back.
I mean, a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
But you've got like, we all have opinions and things you want to say, and like you're going to have some conversations that'll push boundaries for people. It'll challenge people a little bit. It'll upset people a little bit. Not because they're upsetting things, but because you're saying things that maybe people don't want to hear or haven't heard before. And this is all stuff you shared with me. But I think understanding who you are and where you come from and what your mindset is and why you're doing this is really important. And for me, when you asked me to do this episode with you, I was thinking about if that can come across, it'll really set the table nicely for all the conversations that are going to have.
Yeah, this one's the interview.
Exactly, yeah. Because when you say something to me, you come in here, you say something that could be interpreted as outrageous. I know where it's coming from.
Cancelled. Look.
But I know where it's coming from, so I don't think anything of it, because I know the kind of guy that you are. So
yeah.
I think this little conversation here has really helped do that. And before I let you go, you let me go. I don't know what way it works because I'm on your podcast, but I'm asking the questions.
This one's the team.
Before we let each other go, is there anything else you'd like to add to what we've talked about today?
Oh, yeah, it's just like, you know, when I say things, I don't mean to come across as arrogant. Like I said, I come across from my experience. It's just from my experience. It's personally opinionated, I suppose. But then there's some factual evidence there based on from my past that I can actually look at. So like more or less, like if someone is struggling in the end, just reach out for some help. Talk to someone, because you never know. That one conversation will spark the rest of your life, I think. Do you know?
Yeah.
Because I was very, very against it. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably the first time. This is probably the first time I've ever I've spoken about it before with the Irish Independent and stuff and the Evening Herald before, but I never kind of dwelled or dived into it as much as I did today. And it's still holding back a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just kind of open up to make people understand that, yeah, we've done it. We lose people in the process throughout the life. Like, again, with the suicide thing, I saved one of my best friends from hanging off a bunk bed as well. Very, very hard shit. Do you know what I mean? But he's still alive. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was going through shit. So, like, maybe the message of this podcast is if you think someone is going down a bad road, or if someone is behaviour is a little bit off, maybe just check in on them, see how they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It costs nothing.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have a bill pay for, it might cost you 20 cents. But you know what I mean? Like,
get on Gomo, 13 quid a month.
Gomo, yeah.
Sorry,
So maybe that might be the best message. And just maybe like if you're looking at success as winning all the time, maybe flip the mindset and just change things if they don't work out right.
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing this 8 years now? And I still feel 7 to 8. And I still feel that, like, you know, I have a few things to complete. Regardless, like you said earlier on, success is just that never ending mountain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you'll never be it's like you're chasing your body goals. You're never gonna be complete. Because if you are complete, you've already lost. I think.
Yeah.
You know?
It's that old cliche. It's not the destination, man. It's the journey.
It's the journey.
It's the journey.
Yeah,
and that was a cliche, but it's every day I find out how true that is. Like,
yeah, it's good.
Well, look, Mr. Tommy Buckley, thanks for having me on your podcast.
Thanks for doing it, because you know it took a while.
Thanks for being so candid and honest and open. I'm sure people will enjoy that conversation. I get a lot of value from it. And where can people find you outside of this podcast? Where do they go if they want to have a chat with you?
So if you go on to as a consultation or
whatever, if they just want to reach out, if they want to work with you, if they want to have a chat with you, if maybe something on this podcast resonated or hit a note with them, can they reach out? Yeah,
if someone is struggling, they can always send me a message on Instagram.
Yeah,
no problem. Trained by Tommy PT. Or if they want to work with me, they can go into my link and book in through a free consultation. We can see where we can go from there. Or if they're struggling with their macros and they want to get their calories done, there's also a free calorie calculator in my bio, in my link tree, that you can use to get yourself on the journey again. So,
boom, loads of places there for people.
100%.
Tommy, thanks so much, and I'm sure everyone's looking forward to the next episode.
This is gonna be spicy, yeah. I can feel it.
I love it.
So,
best of luck.
Thank you. Nice one, Dan. Much appreciated, man.
For me, but I just get what I want.